Alright guys, Monday night, October the 15th, and just coming up to 6:30. And we've got a new cheap camera in the garage tonight. I've not replaced my more expensive video camera, so hopefully this will suffice for this evening at least. Got another camera on order. It's going to take a few days to get here, but we'll use this one in the interim. Anyway, we are going to work on fixing up these holes. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, these holes that are left over from the mounts from the wooden rotisserie or the wooden bucks that I used for this car to flip it over. So we've got to plug those holes, and then we've got a bunch of other little damage here. They're just some rot that we have to repair. There's a little hole here, there's a little hole here, and there's a few more little pinholes along here. I want to repair this area because I want to be able to bring the filler up all the way. I'd stopped the filler work here previously because I didn't want to introduce any heat to the filler, and that's why I didn't want to do any welding, any proximity close to the filler, so that's why I stopped the filler back here. So we'll get this out of the way, fix up those holes that need to be fixed. There's some on the back side obviously that need to be fixed as well, as they were through holes from the wooden rotisserie. So we'll go ahead and we'll weld all those up and grind them down nicely, and we'll move on to the other side. Alright guys, we've been out for about an hour and a half or so, and I think we're good with that. I don't know if you can see that. All the holes are filled up on this side. We did the repair up here at the top, and we did the repairs on the holes in the back. So we're good to go there. So yeah, I guess that's good for tonight. We'll move on to the passenger side tomorrow night and do the same thing over there. Plus we need to do a little bit more work. If you look back at my videos, I installed 3 riv nuts on the driver's side to hold the rear fender flange, but I couldn't do that on this side. So I've got to do some repairs here. You can see how nasty some of the holes are here. So we'll repair those holes, and then we'll mount the fender and put the riv nuts where they need to be in order to secure that fender flange. And of course we still need to do the same repairs on the front side and fill those holes up here. So that'll be tomorrow's job. That's it for tonight guys. We'll get back out here tomorrow. One more thing before I go. As I mentioned, it's Monday the 15th of October, and it just happens to be Les's birthday today. So happy birthday to Les. He won't see these birthday wishes until later on if he watches my video. But anyway, regardless, happy birthday Les. Hope you had a good day. I think he's out with the family tonight having a nice dinner. So anyway, we'll catch up with him later. Alright guys, Tuesday, October 16th, just coming up to 6:30 again. And we're back on the passenger side tonight. And we're going to fill up those holes that I mentioned yesterday where we attach the wooden bucks or wooden rotisserie to flip the car over. So we've got a few on this side to repair. And then on the back side, we've got a few to repair here. Some pretty ugly looking ones. And again, lots of brazing back here. So we'll fix those up, and then we'll have another look. And maybe taking a look at this area down here, which is kind of strange. It's kind of a void down here that I noticed there was body filler in there. So we'll see if we can do something to clean this area up a little bit, as opposed to just sticking filler back in there again. Alright, so we've got all the holes plugged up on the front side, and we started working on the back side. And we've got the bottom hole plugged up here, and I've got another hole plugged up here. And what I've decided to do, since these are so ragged, I think we're just going to cut these out entirely and put new metal. You can see there's an old fastener in there. We're just going to cut around this area and put a new patch in here. This metal is not the greatest. I was thinking of actually cutting it back, but I think that's a little extreme for what this actually requires. I really only need to put a couple of riv nuts in here, and that's more than strong enough to hold a few riv nuts. So anyway, we'll cut these areas out and we'll put fresh metal in there. Alright, there are the 2 areas cut out. This is one of the pieces that shows the original captive nut that would have been in behind here, and that's why I need to go back now and add a riv nut, since somehow those captive nuts didn't quite work out for this previous owner. So we'll fix this area up, put the fender back up, mark out the mounting locations, and we'll put some riv nuts in there. Alright guys, the power hour is done for tonight. We've got those areas cleaned up and ready to be fitted up to the rear flange of the fender. So we'll do that tomorrow. We'll drill the holes for the riv nuts after we get them positioned correctly. and then we'll move on from there. See you tomorrow. Well, Thursday morning, October the 18th, and I guess that qualifies as snow. Not much, but still snow. So winter is here. Alright, I managed to pick up a new video camera. The one that I'm shooting with just is not cutting the mustard, and it shouldn't since it's such a cheap camera. But anyway, we've got a new Canon Vixia HFR 800, and it's a mid-range camera, let's call it. It's not really expensive. These cameras that I use in the garage only tend to last for so long. I think I'm up to about just over 650 videos now, and I think I've used about 4 cameras, so I'm probably averaging about 165 videos per camera, which is not a lot, I guess, when you think about it, but it takes me a while to make 165 videos. So anyway, I've decided to get a new camera and continue with the video making. Hopefully you're happy with that. This camera, just for those of you that want to know, was $340 Canadian. That's including taxes. And it was on sale, so not exactly cheap, but not exactly expensive either. I mean, you can buy video cameras that are thousands of dollars if you really wanted to, but this will serve the purposes. So hopefully you'll see a little bit better video quality than my last video, or last couple videos actually, because I was using a number of different cameras just to muddle through until I picked this one up. So hopefully the video quality will be better from this point on. Alright. Gonna unpack it, charge it up. Alright, 18th of October, just about 7 p.m. We've got the Leafs keeping us company out in the garage tonight. Go Leafs go. Hopefully this will be their year to win the Stanley Cup. They haven't won one since I was born, and I was born in 1967, so that's an awfully long time. Maybe I cursed them. Anyway, back on the car tonight, we are going to try to fit this rear fender in order to figure out the locations for those riv nuts that I want to drill and add in there on that rear B-post. But before I get to digging out the fender and fastening it, I need to find the fasteners. I put those away when I moved to that hood painting project. I stored away pretty much everything I had to do with the 250 in these bins over here. Sorry about the light. In these bins over here, I've got all the fasteners for the fenders. I've got the boot hinges that I need, and a bunch of other stuff that I need. Anyway, I put it away to get it out of the way, and now I need it. I have to go back through the bins to find it. So we're going to do that first. I don't know how long that'll take us. Historically, those kind of things always tend to be in the bottom bin. Anyway, we'll get to that, figure out where the hardware is, and then we'll mount that fender up and figure out the riv nut locations. And I've forgotten already, my memory's getting older. Anyway, I've forgotten already whether I mentioned or not in the last video segment I took that this is actually not the new camera. This is actually the old camera. The new camera takes 7.5 hours to charge up initially, so we've got that plugged into the wall inside the house. So we're still muddling through with the old video camera. Sorry, let's say the new old video camera. Does that make sense? Anyway, it's not the new camera. Alright, we managed to find the hardware to fasten that fender temporarily. So we're going to get under there and mark the locations for the riv nuts, and then we'll take the fender back off again for the 713th time, and we will locate the riv nuts and put the fender back on, fasten it up, and it'll be ready for some body work. So this is the riv nut tool, and I'm using M6, so metric number 6 riv nuts. Let me see if I can do this kind of one-handed. So you basically thread the riv nut on the tool, like so. Alright, I've already pre-drilled the hole here. See if I can do this one-handed. Put the riv nut in and squeeze, and I'm going to have to put the camera down. Anyway, you get the point. I'm going to squeeze that, and that's going to create the sort of the bulge behind the head of the riv nut so it doesn't come back out. And then you'll just simply unscrew the tool by turning this knurled nut at the back. So that's what we got to do. So there's one done, and there's the other one done down the bottom. So finish off the top one, and we'll be done with this. They say, Bob's your uncle. So there, threaded inserts, M6 set screws, washers, and will be lock washers on there eventually. So another job done. Let's move on to something else. Okay, I managed to find the trunk hinges, the boot hinges. So we're going to put those on. I've got the inner structure for the trunk lid here as well. So we're going to do that. I found this little spacer in here, and I'm not exactly sure where that goes. I don't recall taking it off, but I put it in the bag and there's only one of them, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with that spacer. I'll have to have a look at the parts catalog and figure that out. It might be actually for the bottom legs here that fit into the bottom recess of the trunk lid. This stiffener piece, there might have been a spacer in there. I'll have to have a look. Maybe it's a distance piece to keep this from collapsing or something like that. That could be it. So, like I said, I'll have to have a look at the parts catalog and figure out if I can find out where that spacer's from. Alright, that's it for tonight, guys. We'll call it a night. I gotta go and have some dinner. It's probably close to 8:30ish, somewhere around there. I have no idea, actually. But we'll get back out here tomorrow and play around with that trunk lid, get that attached, and then we'll start doing some body work on that.